What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be changing things up a little bit. We're not actually going to be doing fishing today, and I kind of just wanted to go over the John boat to bass boat that I made, a few months ago. I really tried to document the whole thing, and in the process of doing that, this was my first time ever doing anything like this. And so I put a couple of videos out about it, but they really didn't give any information across. They were kind of just like my trial and errors and a lot of talking. So I've been getting a lot of comments on the video that I did for the final product of it, and I really did not expect it to do as many views as it did. It got like 12,000 views, which is mind-blowing to me. It was just a little project that I did, and I never expected it to get so much acknowledgement. So today I'm going to go over the John boat, and I'm going to show you guys literally everything that I did, how I did it, and how you guys can go about doing the same thing if you guys are curious about doing it. I think a lot of people misunderstood my intentions with it, and on top of that, a lot of people just been asking questions about like length and parts and pieces used, etc. We're going to go over this bass boat. I'm going to call it my bass boat. Right now it looks pretty naked. I'm going to put it together as I talk about it, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly how much I paid for everything, and how I got it for the price that I did, and what I've done to it. And now that I've had it for like 4 months, I'm going to show you how it's held up and things like that. So if you guys didn't see the video of me making it, essentially what I wanted to do was have a cheap replacement to this guy right here. I have a very expensive Nitro Z7 Sport that I purchased last year myself, and it's a very nice fiberglass boat. I love the thing to death. I fish on it a lot, but I can't take it fishing in a lot of places around where I live. A lot of the lakes have horsepower limits. A lot of them are electric motors only, and it's expensive at the end of the day. I took a loan out on it. It costs a lot of money, and I'm trying to keep it in good condition. So I wanted an alternative that I could go fish in mucky ponds, that I could go fish in electric lakes or, cruddy rivers, something that I just didn't care about if I literally put a hole in it or completely just sunk it to the bottom. So I thought a John boat would be a perfect idea. So I originally started looking for those plastic Pelicans, like the 10-foot bass boats and things like that, and they were $500, $600, $700. And the more that I looked into it, I could go to Cabela's and buy a brand new aluminum boat for $600, $700. So I was trying to think, how can I logically go about this? How can I get a mini bass boat that's going to allow me to do it, but also be affordable? Now, guys, I didn't want to spend more than $500. I'm talking boat, everything included, motor, battery, etc. I didn't want to spend more than $500, and I know that's really hard to do. So if there's anything that I'm good at, it's finding things for a good price, and that's what I did right here. I ended up buying a 12-foot aluminum John boat right here, and when I bought it, it was bare naked. Here's some pictures of what it looked like, when I picked it up, and it wasn't in the best condition at all whatsoever. So this boat was used. It's a 1995, it's pretty old, and honestly I was very skeptic about buying it. I found it on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy was asking $350. So, it was the cheapest one that I came across, and it seemed like it would get the job done, but I wasn't exactly sure. The main reason that I went and looked at it was because the guy was offering it with tons of extras. He had seats with it, he had a trolling motor, a battery box, paint. He had like the whole 9 yards. He bought it with intentions to make it into a fishing machine, never got around to it, couldn't afford to do it. So I threw him an offer. I said, hey buddy, I'll give you $300 for everything, and he took it. I just negotiated with him. I got really lucky, and I ended up with this guy right here. That's how I got it. That's how much I paid for it right off the bat. So my goal was to be able to take this $300 naked John boat, turn it into a bass boat for under $500, which started the series, building a bass boat for under $500. I picked up this guy for $300, and he was bare naked. He was just these tin seats, or not tin, what am I saying? Aluminum seats. It's a full aluminum boat. None of this stuff was in it yet, but as you can see, it's really not in the greatest shape as it is right now. I didn't clean it up for this video. I didn't feel the need to, but yes, and all I did to it was I installed decking and a few other components that made it logical to take fishing. Now, I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I knew I was going to be essentially trashing this thing. It wasn't meant to be a prized piece of equipment. So what I did was I installed a deck, and I'm going to show you guys how I went about doing that, but there was two things, actually 3 things that I thought about when it came to making this. The first thing was, how can I do this cheap? The second thing was, how could I do this light? because I need to carry it around and I had to travel with it. I don't have a trailer for it, none of that stuff. And then the third thing was, you know, how can I still make it look nice? When I originally started doing it, guys, I tried to do all kinds of decking. Like I tried to put a frame up here, I tried to put a frame here, and I wanted to make a full casting deck. But the more that I did it and the more wood that I added, it just became really, really heavy, and it wasn't logical. It came out to so much weight that me and 2 people couldn't carry it. And on top of that, the more weight you add, you know, the less you can put in it. So I thought about it that way, it wasn't working. Then I thought about it in the sense that maybe I could do aluminum framing. So I tried and I found a bunch of aluminum frame, and I don't know how to weld aluminum. I don't know anybody that knows how to weld aluminum, and it just wasn't logical. So I came with this conclusion, guys. I'm gonna show you how I built it right now. I thought, I could use these benches as supports, and I could make a light frame in the back where I took wood, as you guys can see right here, and I put just a light piece of framework back here. Now you guys may wonder, well, how did this work? Where's the decking at, etc. I'm gonna show you guys right now how I put the decking in there. I'm gonna go grab it, I'm gonna install it, and give you guys a gist for how I went about it that way and why I did it that way. I'm sorry for talking a lot so much, guys, but I've been getting so many questions. I just felt I would give as much information as I possibly can for the people that are willing to listen. So if you want to get to the point, just skip around in the video. It's fine with me. But let me grab the decking for you guys and show you how I went about doing this. Boom, so there you guys have it. Here's my decking in like this, and I know it's nothing crazy, and it does work. So here's the back deck right here. I left the middle open, and then I put a deck up front. Now this is essentially just 3 cut pieces of 3/4 inch plywood. I went with 3/4 inch plywood because that was the best, you know, caliber of plywood that would work without essentially snapping in half, cracking, or for the most part, it can pretty much hold anyone with the support strength that I have. So what I did was I cut a full out 3/4 inch piece of plywood for the whole front and the whole back. From there, I measured a piece out of the seat and then cut 2 slivers on each side. So as you guys can see right here, I have the carpeted 1/4 inch plywood right here. You can see my gap, and then I got the back piece right here. Same thing with up front. I did 3/4 inch plywood all the way around, cut a bench seat right here, and cut the front up here. Now the reason that I did this was so I could have the capability of having doors. Now originally when I tried doing this, I tried to make like trap doors, and as far as supporting went, it just wouldn't work. It would break, it wasn't good enough. Going back to the drawing board, it was actually a better idea not to do the trap doors because it made the boat all around just better. The reason it was better was because doing it this way actually allowed me to have more storage, more space, and make the boat lighter. So it gave me more storage because literally, as you guys can see right here, I have all that space. It's all open, it's still supported. In the back, I have the exact same thing. I have all that space underneath there. Boom. And if you guys are wondering what these are, these were literally just lanyards that I took off and I screwed into the bottom, and I made little flaps. This made it way lighter because what I actually am able to do now is take these pieces completely out. So when I travel around, when I carry this thing alone, it's not too heavy. Like 2 people can carry it pretty good, but the farther you go, it's some weight. So what we do here is we grab these ribbons, we pull these completely out. I take these, I throw them in the back seat of my truck, just 1 and 2, and then we carry the John boat just completely bare naked. We can bring it around everywhere, and it's just so light. Like I can carry this thing by myself without those wooden boards in it. So it allows me to carry it to the lake. Then I go back to my truck, grab each piece, drop it in there. I'm good to go. I got my deck, the boat is light, and you know, I got way more room than I ever planned on having. So that's really cool, guys, and this is literally so simple. Like I put it on here, and it's also heavy enough to where like they're so snug fit. Like the carpet makes it really stick in there. These don't move at all. Like they don't slide out. I've never had an issue with them popping out. I've never fell through it, nothing like that. And guys, I fish on this a lot. At the end of this video, I'll show some clips of us catching fish on this particular boat. That's it, guys. That's all I did was 3/4 inch plywood, cut it into 2 different pieces, and literally just took a lanyard and screwed it in on the bottom. I just used stuff that I had around my house. It allowed me to save a lot of money, and worked out great. So as far as cost went for that, it wasn't too bad. The 3/4 inch plywood, I believe, was like 30 bucks, just about $30. And if you guys have some tools in the garage and stuff like that, or if you're considering doing this project, you probably got tools around to be able to do this. We just used a circular saw, and I just measured the outside, cut it. It was easy. Now the carpet, a lot of you guys were asking me about where I got this carpet, how I afforded the carpet, because bass boat carpet, guys, it's not cheap. The cheapest way that I found to be able to do the carpet thing was just by going to Home Depot and buying a deck carpeting. So they sell deck carpets, usually like a 6x8 or an 8x12, and it's just outdoor carpet. It's meant to leave on your patio so you can have a carpet out there for your shoes and stuff, kind of like a floor mat, but it's also like not waterproof, but it can handle weather. It's like weatherproof. So that's all I did. I took that carpet right there and I went and bought one for about 15 bucks, and it might have been cheaper, honestly. I have the price points in the other video, but it was really cheap. So I went and got that, and I laid the pieces of cardboard down, I cut around, and I took adhesive glue and I just threw it on there, and boom. Took a staple gun, stapled it on in there, and that's how I got the carpet on. Now this is a little bit different material than the original carpet that you'll see in a typical boat, like my boat right here. The carpet, I don't know if you guys can tell the difference. You can't really see here because I have stuff on here. So this is like your regular carpet on your boat. It's a little more rugged, I would say. Seems to, you know, keep away from hooks a lot. This tends to kind of catch your treble hooks a little bit, but the more I've used it, the more it's kind of worn down a little bit. And for the most part, it's not too bad. Like, it works out great and it doesn't burn your feet. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I did for the carpet and the deck, guys. 3/4 inch plywood, weatherproof Home Depot carpet. Cheapest way I could think about doing it. So now that the interior is kind of taken care of, you know, I'm going to talk to you guys about the actual exterior of the boat. Now, originally when I picked up this boat for 300 bucks, it wasn't pretty. It was in pretty bad shape, and it had quite a few holes in it. A lot of the buttons were leaking on it. A lot of the rivets were leaking. There was literally a hole in it at one point, and it got covered up by the owner pretty much just spray painting the crap out of the bottom. Now, I figured this out when I brought it home. I didn't water test it when I bought it. I figured for 300 bucks, I'll figure it out. I originally started trying to take aluminized fluxless welding sticks and patching the holes, and it was really hard to do, and it didn't quite work well. So I pretty much brazed up those holes a little bit with those sticks, and it got me a good enough base to be able to bridge things around it. From there, I took JB Weld and stuffed it in everywhere it had a problem, and as you guys can see right here, I'll show you, that's kind of what I'm left with. So I don't know if you could see from my shadow, but this right here is just a big thing of putty, basically. Now, JB Weld usually is like a rubbery white, and as you guys can see right here, this is black and it looks a little weird. That is because I chose to put bed liner on the bottom. Now, the JB Weld, for the most part, got rid of all my leaking, and it did a really good job. I definitely recommend it, and it was only about 8 bucks for a thing of putty. I'll actually show you guys, if you guys are curious, since I'm doing like a full detail video. I'll come into my garage over here because I think I still have some. It's just like a little thing of putty right here. As you guys can see, JB Weld. It's water weld. I got this putty specifically for welding in the water. It also adheres when it's wet and things like that, so I figured that would be the best option. So after I did the JB Weld, I really wanted to make sure there weren't going to be any leaks or anything like that. So that's where I went ahead and bought a big can of truck bed liner. Now, if you guys don't know what that is the typical paint or like the rugged stuff that people spray down in their truck beds. So this allows it to not scratch as much and kind of just allows you to put whatever you want in the bed of your truck without actually denting your truck bed and stuff like that. It's really strong stuff, and I totally recommend it. Now, what I did differently than most people was I got the roll-on can. I didn't get the spray cans. I got the roll-on paint. It was a lot thicker. It was just a lot more tough, in my opinion. So I went ahead, and I'm under here with you guys. I don't know if you guys can see. It's a little beat up now, but it's really rugged down here. I painted the entire bottom inside and out, and it seemed to literally take care of all the leaking. Before the paint, I painted all the rivets with it. It's just like a thick tar almost. It's like I almost put a black top coating on the entire boat. Now, as you guys can see under here, it's kind of worn away because I've tanked this thing down rivers. Like I've hit this thing on rocks and everything like that. So the paint's missing a little bit in certain spots, but that's okay. It still holds. It literally doesn't leak at all. I know you guys see like water in here sometimes and things like that, but that's literally because it's been sitting on the side of my house in the rain. In my opinion, I think the truck bed liner was like the icing on the cake. It got rid of all the leaky rivets. It completely sealed everything. I think I did 2 coats on each side, and then I didn't do the entire inside. I just did like, you know, the corners and things like that where, you know, I was worried about having leaking, and it took care of all the leaks. So this boat is completely leak free. It's pretty darn dented and it's pretty scratched up, mainly because I've just tanked it down the rivers while muskie fishing. I've hit quite a few rocks. I mean, I haven't held back with this thing. I really wanted to put it to the test, and it's been great, guys. It's been so good. I can't complain. I have no issues with it whatsoever. It's been everything that I wanted it to be. I wanted a stress-free, worry-free, essential bass boat, and that's what I got here. So there's really not much to it, and it was a learning curve for me. I went ahead and just took paint on the outside. If you guys are curious about that, I painted the outside with spray paint, and then I took a clear coat and clear coated over it just to make it look a little bit nicer and not like typical spray paint. I tried taking a stencil here of my YouTube logo and putting it on the outside. It came out okay. It doesn't look terrible, but you know, it's just some kind of hillbilly bass boat that I made just for fun. And honestly, it's a great idea for anybody who wants a boat for their pond, or maybe you guys are younger kids who you got a truck but you don't have the money to afford this. Now, this is literally no intention to flex or anything on anyone. I bought my first boat when I was 19. It was very expensive. I went to the bank, I took a loan out, and it was a huge learning curve for me, and it was something. It helped me out a lot, but I don't recommend necessarily doing it. There's something that you need to learn. So I think starting with something like this to kind of learn boats a little bit, and then moving on into something smaller. I had a bigger aluminum boat before this one. Then I traded that one in and bought myself my first fiberglass bass boat as of last year. A lot of people ask me, you know, oh dude, where do you get all this money? They ask about my truck over there. They asked me about my boat over here, guys. Straight up, I dropped out of college. I worked my butt off. I did construction. I did social media marketing. I made money. That was it. I made money. I went to the bank. I took out a loan for some of the stuff. Yeah, I don't recommend doing that either, but you got to do what you got to do. And it got me to where I am, and that's simply how I do it. My parents didn't buy anything for me, and so I went ahead and took this on as a project because sometimes it's good just to have something like this. Some of you guys might have families where you can't do something like this, and all you care is that you get to go out and fishing. Maybe your friends and stuff don't like to go. You just do it as something you enjoy yourself. So I definitely recommend doing this. So overall, guys, I could have did this boat for $400 on the dot. I spent a little more money just for things that I wanted to do. And at the end of the day, I just wanted to see if I could do it for under $500. I'm trying to think of everything else that you guys have asked me in the comment section of that video. You guys want to know the length. Again, the length was 12 foot. This is a 12-foot John boat. The width is 4.5, I think. It's not anything crazy. I believe it's 4.5 feet wide. It's kind of uneven. It's thinner up here, and then it gets wider, and then it gets thin again. It's kind of a weird layout. People ask me how stable it is. It is very stable, guys. The more weight I have in it, the more stable it is. It's a little wonky at first to get used to, but I have no problem standing 2 people in here and fishing it. I've never flipped it. I've never lost anything on it. And, you know, it's not that much space. In the back here, I have a little transom. You guys are gonna see like a triangle because this is how I travel. I throw it directly in the bed of my truck. I ratchet strap it down. I leave this on here so the cops don't yell at me because I gotta have that on there for legal purposes. It does have a transom right here in which I do have a 25-pound Minn Kota that I put on there. So I do have a trolling motor for it. It does work. This thing probably goes almost 10 miles an hour. I mean, this thing scoots when we're out there. I fish a lot of ponds with it, rivers and things like that, and it's been really great. It's definitely took a beating, as you guys can see right here. Like, I have some dings down here. Let me see if I can hold the camera better. I have quite a few dings, like right in here, and probably all up here, as you guys can tell. It's took quite a beating. I think up here I got a bigger one right here, and this one's huge too. And that is just soulfully because I have, like I said, guys, I've beat the crap out of it, and that's what I wanted. Now, something like this you can definitely put on a trailer if you wanted to. A lot of times I'll put it on like kayak wheels when I take it by myself so that I can carry it around. I have a handle up here up front that we put on, helps me carry it around. And for the most part, guys, it's just been a really great boat. highly recommend it. It's definitely very inexpensive to do, and if you have a pickup truck, I only have a 5.5 foot bed on my F-150. I have the smaller bed because I have the crew cab. So a lot of you guys might be asking like, hey, you know, what kind of truck do you have? Does it fit in there? It's a 12-foot boat. I throw it in there. I leave my tailgate down. I use these right here. I run a ratchet strap right around here and go to the hooks in my bed. It hangs out a little bit, but it stays in there. I've never had an issue with the cops, nothing like that. I got the storage back here. As you guys can see, I put a battery back there. I put some tackle back there. Up here, I usually put life jackets, more fishing tackle, things like that. Some other exteriors that I put on here just for fun, I put a 2x4 with some PVC pipes. I actually had 3, but 1 ripped off. These I can put fishing rods in when I'm fishing by myself, keep them out of the way. These things right here are my rod savers. I'll show you guys right here. I put little pieces of Velcro on here so that I can put rods down here like this. So you guys can see, you'll know if you know what like a real bass boat is. So I put these on here just like this so I can lay my rod down like so. And then you just take this and boom, got a little piece of Velcro on there so that stays. And usually when I'm fishing, they don't go anywhere. So it works out really great. And I'm happy with it, guys. So I think I answered everybody's questions. Overall, I spent somewhere between $395 and $400. I don't remember, to be honest with you guys. I made a video with the price breakdown, but it was just something as simple as me going on Facebook Marketplace. You guys can probably go on Craigslist too. It doesn't matter. I found a good deal. Go on there, try to maximize everything that you can. If you can find a deal where it comes with a boat, a trolling motor, some pieces or parts to help you get the job done, definitely go about that first. A lot of people want a lot of money for cruddy aluminum John boats. I'll be honest with you guys. You should be able to buy one for like $100, $200 in really crappy shape, but you can't. People want $350 to $500 for even something that's not in the greatest shape. So if you do search, you really gotta look. You'll find them for cheap, but they're on there. They exist. So go on there. That's the first thing I would recommend. Go to Facebook Marketplace, try and find your price range, and then sit there and figure out exactly how you can go about doing it. And don't just go dive in head first and buy a bunch of stuff and try and do it. You're gonna spend a lot of money and you're gonna wish, wow, I could have just spent the $800 and got one already made for me. So if there's anything you guys need to think about, or if you want any information, it's just try to save money. Something like this, you're gonna be carrying it around, you're gonna be throwing it in the bed of your truck. It's not gonna be in the nicest shape. I'm going to nickel and dime this thing because it's gonna get taken out of the truck. It's gonna get dropped on the ground. It's gonna get pulled up on rocky shorelines. It's gonna hit rocks in the river. It's gonna get messed up. I wanted to put as least amount money into it as possible, because if for some reason it sank to the bottom of the lake, you know, I wouldn't even be mad about it. So that's what I did. You know, it's just an aluminum. It's a 1995, guys. It's not the nicest thing ever, but it works and it catches fish. You could get more complex with it if you'd really like to. But I don't know. I'm really trying to think right now of everything that I've done with it. And yeah, I don't know. So hey, if you guys do have any other questions that maybe I didn't cover, or maybe you're wondering about things like that, you know, just leave a comment down below, and I always try to reach out to you guys and comment. I'll answer you. A lot of people have asked me for extra pictures and stuff like that. If you guys are interested in that, go over to Instagram. I have some info on there. I do have pictures of it finished, and before I made it on Instagram, you're gonna see a lot of exclusive things on Instagram than you will here on YouTube, to be honest with you. But go ahead, leave a comment down below. Hey, drop a like for me if you guys like this video. A lot of people go way above and beyond on these things, and that's okay. But if you're looking to do what I did, just go ahead, check out this video, listen to me ramble on for a little bit, and it just might help you out. Other than that, I'm gonna leave you guys here with some content where I caught some bass on this boat. I actually caught a muskie in this boat too. So you guys are gonna see some of the fish that we pulled out in this thing and some of the memories that I've had on it. I've owned it for, I'm gonna say 3 months now, I think. I don't really know. It's been a great boat. I love it to death. It was a really fun project, so I encourage you guys to get out there and try and do something like this. Other than that, if you guys are new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, enjoy these video clips. See you guys. Thanks. Come on. No, he's a chub. Oh, I caught his little brother before that. Boom, guys. All right, so let's give you guys a quick lowdown on what's going on. Fish? Good one? You're good. I got him. Don't worry. You sees him in. That's like the first one I caught. Oh, another 2.5 pounder. Bloop, bloop. Got you. I got you. Don't step back on my rod. Oh my gosh. All right. On the chatterbait, I told you. Come here. I got him. Come here. Oh, yeah, buddy. There you go, son. Backwards bump. Don't drop it by me. Say, buddy. So there you guys go. That right there is what we're after. I mean, I don't know. This might be my PB, guys. I'm gonna try it. There's trees everywhere. I don't know. I'm sure there's a picture I can get of it. It's fine. So first ever river muskie. Look at that, guys. Boom, baby. Got him?
Yep, they're good.
Okay.
Right in there. That little section, there's always a bass. What did I tell you?
Oh.
Dude, what did I tell you?
I got him. That's a good one, dude.
Dude, what did I tell you? I'm